This is level 3 of hip and knee stability. You'll need a yoga mat, dumbbells, and a low step. Okay, let's warm up with some single leg deadlifts. One leg up in the air, squeezing through the glutes and pressing through the foot to bring your hips up. Make sure you keep breathing and keep some tension in your core throughout the movement. We'll finish out 10 reps on this side before we switch. And switching over to the other leg. Okay, as you finish out this last rep, we're going to roll onto our side. Bottom leg is going to be straight, top leg is going to be bent, knee on the floor. Keeping the top hip still as you brace through the core, squeezing the glutes to lift your knee up to hip height. Pausing here, then slowly extending your foot behind you, keeping the knee bent. Pause and hold before you feel like you're falling backwards. Slowly return the knee to the front position and lower back down to the floor. Take a moment and reset, bracing the core, lifting the knee again up to hip height as slowly as you can, and slowly pivoting that leg back, foot is reaching behind you, stopping and bracing before we fall, rotating back to the front, and slowly lowering without letting our hips roll. Let's do one more rep on this side. All right, flipping over to the other side, we're going to do another 3 reps on the opposite leg. Again, head is supported by the arm, bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent. Bracing through the core, we're going to lift our knee off the ground. Holding here for a moment before we pivot backwards, reaching the foot behind us, muscles of the low back are supporting our leg, and slowly bringing the knee back out in front of us. Taking a breath, bracing again, and slowly lifting, reaching the foot behind you. Coming back to the front and doing one more rep at your own pace. As you finish out that set, we're turning back onto our back for single leg deadlifts. 10 reps on either side here. Switching over to that second leg for another 10 reps. Making sure we're still breathing steadily, pressing through the whole foot, squeezing the glutes at the top. As you finish that up, turn onto your side for another round of long clamshells, setting up with bottom leg straight, top leg bent and on the floor, bracing your core, trying to see how slowly you can lift that knee off the ground, slowing the movement down even more if last round went well, and slowly extending the foot behind you. As you bring it back to the front, keep the hips still as you lower your knee. Let's finish out another couple reps here. We're just aiming for 3 reps total, so take your time. And let's move over to the second side when you're ready. Same movement, nice and slow for 3 reps. As you finish that up, we're coming up to standing and grabbing a pair of dumbbells, moving over to stand in front of a chair, holding the weights in front of your shoulders as you squat back to the chair, squeezing your glutes to return to standing and pressing the weights overhead. Making sure that you bring the weights all the way back down to shoulder height before you start your next squat. We're going to do 10 total reps here. As you finish out your last rep, we're going to move over to our small step or stool, standing on it with one foot, hinging at the hips and bending the knee of your planted leg as you keep a neutral spine, extending the opposite leg behind you. Pausing with your foot off of the floor and slowly returning back up to standing. We're going to do 5 reps on either leg, making sure we're getting lots of knee bend as we sink back, reaching our back leg behind us. Switching over to the other leg as you finish out 5 reps. Staying long through the torso as you reach your tailbone back behind you, bending the standing leg, then squeezing the glutes as you stand up tall. Take your time on these reps. We're trying not to touch or press off the floor at all. Finishing 5 per side here. As you finish out your reps, we're going back to that squat press, grabbing our dumbbells, bringing them up to shoulder height, reaching hips back and down in a squat, and then standing tall, pressing the weight straight overhead. Aiming for about 10 reps here. And moving back over to our step, working on those slow step backs, trying to stay nice and long through the torso, focusing on balancing your weight through that front foot, toes are staying down. Take your time through 5 reps here and switch sides at your own pace. Whenever you're finished, switching over to that second side for another 5 reps. Okay, moving on to our next circuit here, we're going to do single leg deadlifts. Grabbing one dumbbell, standing on a foot, holding the dumbbell on the same side, staying long through the torso, hinging at the hips to reach your opposite foot backwards, pressing through the floor to return to standing position. Keep your hips and shoulders level throughout the movement. You're welcome to extend the opposite arm to help with your balance. If you need to touch your foot down at the top of the rep, that's totally fine. Slowing these down, feeling this in your glutes and hamstrings at the back. And let's switch over to the other side after 5 reps. Finding your balance on each rep here, reaching back with the hips and foot, standing tall, shoulders back at the top of every rep. Let's finish out 5 reps on the second side here. All right, go ahead and set your weight down. Moving on down to the floor, we're going to start in a high plank position with hands close together and feet very wide apart. Bracing with your core and glutes, slowly lift one hand and hold it off the floor. Shoulders and hips should not move. Slowly bring the hand back down and switch sides. Focus on your form and take your time. We're only aiming for 6 total reps here, so focus on form and stability. Great job. As you finish out 6 reps, we're headed back up to single leg deadlifts. Again, 5 on either side at your own pace this time. As you finish out your deadlifts, we're moving back down to the floor for a second set of those hand lifts. If last round felt good, see how long you can extend the time on each lift. Doing 6 total reps, alternating each time. All right, we're moving back up to standing, pausing here whenever you need to, if you need to grab some water or take a break. When you're ready, we're doing one last set, single leg deadlifts, 5 per side. Taking your time, grounding through the foot, making sure we're getting those shoulders all the way back at the top, trying to maintain that scapular stability throughout the movement. Switching over to that second side, last 5 reps of deadlift for today. Okay, setting down your weights, moving back down onto the floor. Last exercise here. Last 6 reps of hand lifts. Challenging yourself to hold that hand off the ground for a little bit longer. Glutes and core are rock solid. We're not letting anything else move or rotate. Shoulders stay still, only the arm is moving. As you finish out these last few reps, that wraps up our workout for today.